We got William Regal saying goodbye to BCC and AEW. PWI chooses their tag team of the year, and there's a possible Sasha Banks sighting. More on that to come on this episode of Tag Me In.
T.A.G.
That's tag shit.
Free fall as I die through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama, I don't really want.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Scooter Lewin. I'm here to just talk about some things in wrestling over this past week. First and foremost, William Regal. He said goodbye to Blackpool Comeback Club. But it was weird because it was more like a, hey, if you find this video, I'm dead type situation. You know how you watch the movies that, hey, if you find this tape, that means something has happened to me. And that's how, because even the way Skiavone presented it, it was like a, hey, William Regal has died, so he wanted to leave y'all this tape. But basically, it was a tape saying that those three men will be fine on their own. Those three men referring to Moxley, Danielson, and Claudio, and that hopefully those three men can still be a mentor to Wheeler. And that, you know, I knew they didn't need me anymore, so I had to prove to them why. I gave Max what he wanted with being the champion, so now it's kind of a be careful what you wish for, because now you're the number one target in the company. And that, you know, he had to teach Mox the final lesson of, you know, make sure you always one step ahead and keep eyes in the back of your head. You know, Regal was dropping bars. And that, you know, he did all this to basically show that he knew his time has come. BCC didn't need him no more. That he's Blackpool Comeback Club till he died. He's forever grateful to those gentlemen. And, you know, when you BCC for life on some NWO shit. Yeah. With that being said, Tony Khan did address that. And basically, Regal wanted to go back to WWE a la NXT, and that, you know, he wanted to be a mentor to his son, Charlie Dempsey, / you know, mentor to the talent as well. So Tony Khan let it go. So starting January 1st, Regal can go back, but he can't be an on-screen character for another year. So if WWE wants to feature him back on TV, they'll have to wait to 2024. So I guess if they have massive pull-aparts and things like that, Reed's got to stay in the back. You know, he got to stay back there because I guess if he gets spotted, it's like a breach of contract situation that they could sue. So massive brawls, you will not see Regal. Yeah. Ultimately, out there, how y'all feel about Regal's short time? Because he was what? Not even the whole year. 6, 7 months? 8, maybe? How y'all feeling about Regal leaving and going back to NXT, becoming the coach, being there with his son and things like that? Let us know down there in the comments below. All right, PWI, Pro Wrestling Illustrator. They've been doing yearly top lists for years, decades. For the past 10 or so years, maybe less, maybe more, they've been ranking tag teams. And recently, they ranked their tag team of 2022. Number 3 were the Briscoes. Number 2 was FTR. And number 1 was the Usos. And people weren't happy because the Briscoes, them boys, they tweeted, imagine if we weren't banned from TV. Usos, my ass. Dax from FTR. Did Paul Heyman write this issue? Because this shit full of lies. And then the Usos account tweeted, A lot of salty ass tag teams out there, huh? Look here. It is a list collective of people's thoughts and votes and things like that. Considering how 2022 went, let's really be honest. Considering how 2022 went, how can you not have the Usos as the number one tag team? Regardless of if you hate the WWE or not, they had the most thrilling storyline of all of wrestling with the bloodline stuff. Like they had in between the bloodline fully forming, the whole Sami Zayn situation. How can you not? And it wasn't like Usos wasn't going out there wrestling. Now, I could see if the Usos only had like 5, 6, 7 matches this year, but they were still constantly having matches. Like it wasn't like they were bums. I mean, they became the undisputed tag team champions of the galaxy at Was it WrestleMania? That was after WrestleMania. They became the undisputed tag team champions of the universe galaxy. But they've been holding it down. They just surpassed the New Day as the longest reigning champs of all time. So it wasn't like they were bums. And I think we have a question from the audience here. I say it loud.
There's a tag team in AEW who have like 5 or 6 or 7 belts or some shit.
There's FTR. There was Piss. There were 2.
So like, wouldn't they be the ones who be better? Because they have more belts and more championships and more divisions and more people?
No.
How?
Storyline wise. Okay, so to answer your question, FTR wasn't really as featured. You had to search for a lot of their matches. You know, with WWE being the...
So because WWE's more well known, it makes someone more better?
Not exactly. If you really look at it, PWI normally doesn't even cater to WWE like that. They normally cater to independents and things like that. So for them to even vote the Usos as number one tag, consider the rest of the tag teams that was on that list, they might have been the only WWE tag team there at the top 10. But do you not agree with the Usos being number one tag team? Because it seems like your argument is going off of the whole Bill Russell should be better than Michael Jordan because Bill Russell has 11 rings and Michael Jordan only has 6. No. I'm saying the way you're making it sound like because they have more titles, they should be.
Yeah.
Nah, that's not the case.
Okay.
Because I mean, yes, FTR has 3 sets of tag team titles. And yes, they had good matches, but they really had no storylines. They was just out there just go wrestle a match. And it was like, all right, cool. Like, I agree with the Usos being number one. Like I said, they had people feeling Usi. The whole Sami Zayn situation. Like, and plus, this is just of 2022. Like, I can't even remember where the Usos even placed last year. If they were even in top 10 last year. Because I think FTR was number one last year. If I remember correctly. But yeah, congrats to the Usos for being PWI's tag team of the year. And for the tag teams that are feeling salty about it, I mean, it's a vote. It's an opinion.
It's a popularity contest.
It's not even so much a popularity contest.
That's what.
Remember, I told you sometimes a lot of WWE people don't even get featured like that. Like they go off of what happens throughout the whole year. Like if you take literally from January to excuse me, December. Now, is it a little bit of Tony Khan's fault? Because he has FTR and he wasn't featuring them? Maybe so. But at the same time, entertainment wise and everything, the Usos was doing it this year. So shout out to the Usos, #1 tag team. And once again, this is a vote. If the people of PWI voted for the Usos to be #1, be mad at PWI. Don't be mad at the Usos. Trust me, it's not. Be mad at the Usos. Be mad at PWI, not the Usos. Because they were out there doing it. Rumor is that Sasha Banks or Mercedes Bernardo, whoever name she decides to go by, will be at Wrestle Kingdom 17 next month. Multiple wrestling sources have been reporting this. We don't know to what extent. So we shall see. How y'all feeling about that? Because collectively, it's cool. I think one of her dreams was to wrestle in Japan and to be featured. And if she still is, quote unquote, under contract with WWE, this is going to virtually be the same thing of what they did with Chris Jericho. When Chris Jericho was allowed to wrestle at Wrestle Kingdom before he decided to fully leave and go to AEW. So why not? Why not? And before we get into our pay-per-views of the week, this question was posed. Are we really happy with Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor? He's purchased Ring of Honor earlier this year. Apparently, he has an announcement after Final Battle, and hopefully it's for a TV deal or anything like that. But since the purchase, Ring of Honor has been weird because they don't have a show of their own. They still have pay-per-views bi-monthly or quarterly? I think it's quarterly. And he tries to feature them on Dynamite and Rampage, but it seems so just cued in. Like, it doesn't seem natural. And for the wrestling people, let's, harken back to 01 when WWE purchased WCW. Apparently, what AEW is doing with Ring of Honor seems like what WWE was going to somewhat do with WCW, because there was a tester match between Buff Bagwell and Booker T to see if WCW could still work, and it didn't, because I think it was a bunch of boos, it was a bunch of boring chants, and I think ultimately, they sent Stone Cold out there to beat them both up or some shit like that. And from that, WWE never decided to do WCW shows. Not necessarily saying that this was happening with AEW, but it's weird because you necessarily don't know who's Ring of Honor and who's AEW. Because Jericho, who's clearly AEW, is the Ring of Honor champion. Claudio and a few others who are clearly AEW seem to go back and forth. It seemed like Samoa Joe was hired for AEW, is now both Ring of Honor TV champion and TNT champion. So if and when Ring of Honor gets their own separate shows, is there going to be a clear, this is AEW, this is Ring of Honor? I really don't know. Like, it's been a weird acquisition for me. But let us know how you feel about Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor. And speaking of Ring of Honor, they're the first of the 2 pay-per-views tonight. So we got Ring of Honor Final Battle. Let's see if I can go off the top of the dome again. The matches, well, first, the card starts at 2 with the pre-show. And I want to say 3 is the real show, the actual main show. And I don't know if there's any matches yet announced for the pre-show, But on the main show, it's headlined by Claudio Castagnoli, Chris Jericho, Ring of Honor Championship. And if Jericho wins, Claudio has to join the JAS. We got Daniel Garcia defending the Ring of Honor Pure Championship against Wheeler Yuta. So it could either be a JAS retaining or the BCC taking over the main titles. We got Samoa Joe defending his television title against newly signed Juice Robinson. First match in, Juice like, I want that television title, fam. We got the six-man championship, Dalton Castle and the boys versus the Embassy's Gates of Agony, Brian Cage. We got Mercedes Martinez defending her ROH Women's Championship against Athena. If they continue the way Athena's character has been, this should be a brawl. Like, they should really just let these two ladies go out there and just fight. Just rough each other up. Just fight. We got Shane Taylor Promotions versus Swerve in Our Glory. Then, what was the last match announced on Dynamite this past week? FTR defending their ROH Tag Team Championships against them boys, the Briscoes, in a double dog collar match. That should be a certified banger. So, funny enough, we got the number 2 and the number 3 tag team of the year, essentially closing out the year with a banger. A little transparency. This is probably my second or third Ring of Honor pay-per-view that I would see, because I wasn't, not to say I wasn't a Ring of Honor fan or anything. When Ring of Honor was truly in its heyday, I didn't have the necessary means at the time to keep up with it like that. So, not saying Ring of Honor is new to me or not familiar with it. It's just a lot of their pay-per-views and things like that I never watched. Of course, I go back and watch highlights and things like that. But yeah, that is Final Battle. And all those matches sound fire. Like, let's just put it out there. All of those matches sound like they could be some match of the year type candidates. So we'll see come Saturday with Final Battle. Next up, later on tomorrow night, we have NXT Deadline at 7. And we have 2 unique matches that's supposed to determine the number 1 contenders. We have the Iron Survivor Challenge. That's the name of it. And to go over the rules, 5 men, 5 women, not together, 2 separate matches. 25-minute match. Each competitor starts off with 2, and I think every 5 minutes a new competitor enters. Then after the 25 minutes, whoever has the most pinfalls or submissions win. You can even get disqualified too, so that can count against you. And if you're the one who suffers the loss, you get put in a penalty box for like a minute and a half. Yeah, very unique. And these 2 matches are supposed to determine the number 1 contenders to the NXT Men's Championship, NXT Women's Championship. On the men's side, we have Axiom, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, JD Madonna, and Joe Gacy. On the women's side, Indy Hartwell, Zoe Stark, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, and oh no, I just forgot the 5th woman. Kiana James. Those would be the 5 men, 5 women entering the Iron Survivor. We also have NXT Tag Team Championship match, Pretty Deadly versus The New Day. Yes, The New Day. They trying to become Triple Crown champions, y'all. And to be honest with you, why not? It'll kind of lively up the tag team division a little bit, because if you've been watching NXT lately, there ain't really been no contenders for Pretty Deadly. So why not have Woods and Kingston be tag team champs a bit, kind of like how Dolph was NXT champion for a bit. Um, we have a grudge match between Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And the main event, of course, the NXT Championship, Braun Breaker versus Apollo Crews. Um, I don't know how that one's going to go, because my mode of thinking is whoever wins both Iron Survivor matches are most likely going to be the next champions. So, or at least whoever wins the women's one could potentially dethrone Mandy, because Mandy's now over a year as champ, and she's slowly approaching Shayna's record if she hadn't got it yet. But I don't know. I don't know how I truly feel about the Braun and Apollo Crews. But we'll see how that goes. So that'll be both pay-per-views happening tomorrow night, and they're the last pay-per-views on WWE's case premium live events of major promotions for the year. We still got winter is coming when it comes to AEW, where we're gonna see Ricky Starks and MJF, which if you did not see that segment this past Wednesday, Ricky Starks flamed Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And Ricky Starks is coming for everything. So the Dynamite Diamond Ring and the championship is on the line next Wednesday. And that's it. Quick little tag me in. It's been a little bit since we did a tag me in. And I figured that there was enough stories floating around out there for us to kind of throw it out there. But thank y'all for tuning in. I'm Scooter Lou. Shout outs to the bros, Lip Dizzle, Jaeger Bum Bastard, and Juggernaut 097. Until next time, when you might get a quick tag on SmackDown, you're gonna get a hot tag on Final Battle and Deadline. So stay tuned. Content on content on content is coming. Once again, I'm your boy Scooter Lou. Thank y'all for tuning in. We gotta warm it up since it's been a while. There was a tag me in and everything, so you gotta warm it up and get the rust off. But till next time, peeps, you gotta tag the fuck out. Peace.